All right.
All right. So just so we get into recording, the benefits of having a strong mind, resilience and perseverance. I apologize to repeat this: emotional regulation, better focus, productivity. And the most important thing is that it actually helps your physical well-being. Research has shown that a positive mindset directly lowers stress hormones and promotes better cardiovascular and immune health. And this is our schedule so far. We had two sessions already today. I'll talk on the effects of emotion on health according to the five element theories in traditional Chinese medicine. And we'll have a guided emotional release at the end done by Irawan. The last two sessions, we talked about the art of living. And these are the three pillars for personal growth and fulfillment. A stands for awareness. Now, keep in mind that you cannot change what you do not notice. So, therefore, being aware reveals what you need to change. And the next one is the relationship, which provides the support and feedback to make the changes. So, we all know that healthy relationships directly impact your well being. And then the T stands for transformation, which is an active process of turning your awareness and experiences into a meaningful change. This allows you to break the cycle, whatever cycle that is, and altering how you show up for yourself and others. So the art elements form this continuous self-reinforcement loop. And last time we also spoke about the 4S, which stands for stop, settle down, sink in, create a space, smile, which allow you to be more uplifting and expansive, and then savor the moment. And this can be done at any time, anywhere, for any circumstances. Now we're getting to the meat of what the lecture today is. It will be on the effect of emotions using the five element theory, which is one of my favorite theory in the traditional Chinese medicine. And I tell you that I use this theory for everything in treating patients, in my interactions with whoever I interact with. So according to the World Health Organization, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And given that, so now you understand that health is actually a well-rounded physical, mental, and social well-being. And we might as well throw in the spiritual part as well. And since Chinese medicine is based on Taoism, I love this quote from the Tao Te Ching. It says, to cure disease after it has appeared is like digging a well when one already feels thirsty. I hope that the information that you receive from this session will help you to have more tools. So if you ever need to dig a well, you have something to use. But hopefully, knowledge is power. So having the knowledge, you can prevent a lot of these. So Chinese medicine has been around for over 2000 of year, and it is based on Taoism. And according to Chinese medicine, there are two category that causes disease. One we call external, and the other one is internal. And the internal are basically your emotion. And there really isn't any paradigm for conventional medicine that talks about how your internal organs and your emotion affect each other, except through Chinese medicine. And in case some of you don't know, I'm fully trained in traditional Chinese medicine before going to med school. But the external causes are on your left-hand side. I'm not going to go through that. And the internal causes, so I just want to talk to you about the emotion. Anger will rise as energy. When you think about someone who's angry, what happened? Their face turns red. They're upset. So this affects your liver and gallbladder. Joy actually slows down energy. So too much joy can cause the opposite, which manic, and it can causes energy to slow down, and that affects the heart. Worry and pensiveness, which means you keep thinking, ruminating the thing over and over, it can knot up the energy. And a lot of time it affects your spleen and your stomach. And this is where you feel it in your gut. And then sadness dissolves the energy and it affects the lung. Fear descends the chi. And if you have a tiger charging at you, you can have a lot of fear. So it's going to make you want to pee in your pants or just descends your energy and you freeze and you can't move as well. And shock has a property of scatters the chi. It makes you scatter. You can't think clearly. And that affects the kidney and the heart. So let's get into the meat of the five elements. The five element theory says that there are five elements. There's wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And each of these elements has something pertaining to them. It has the emotion, it has the color, it has the sound, it has the season, it has a certain number. So there are so many things that associate with the five element theory. There are three cycles that comes with the five element. The outside cycle is what we call the generating cycle. It is also called the mother and the son. So in the old days, it's all about the mother and the son, and it's not the daughter. So for example, if I start with wood, wood generates fire. We know that you have wood and you burn it, it's going to become fire. Fire generates earth. Everything that burns becomes earth. Earth is the only thing that can hold metal. So metal, earth makes metal, and metal is can hold water. Any container that you make can be metal that can hold water, and water is the only thing that will make wood grow. And this is what we call the generating cycle. So the mother and the son, they're supporting each other. Now, the inside cycle is called the controlling cycle. The controlling cycle, if you follow the arrow, one thing controls another. And this is also called the grandmother and grandson cycle. So wood control earth, which means that if you have landslide and you have mudslide, what you wanted to do is that you want to grow wood to hold down the earth. Okay. Earth controls water. If you have a flooding and there's a lot of water, what you wanted to do is that you want to throw dirt on it to ground the water and hold the water in place. And water controls fire. We all know that water puts out fire, and fire controls metal. So fire is the only thing that can melt metal, and metal controls wood, which means that if you have wood, you take metal and you chop it. Okay, so this is the controlling cycle, and this is the normal cycle. So in this case, the grandmother would tell the grandson whatever, and the grandson obeys. Now you have the opposite. So before the arrow went like this, now it went the opposite. This is what we call the insulting cycle. The insulting cycle is what we call pathological cycle. This only happens when it rebels. There's too much energy that is off balance, so it starts to rebel. So in this instant, if the grandmother tells the grandson, hey, don't go out, just do your homework, and his grandson would say, screw you, I'm going out with my friends. So this will be considered an insulting cycle. So instead of fire, instead of water controlling fire, now fire is actually insulting against the water. All right. So the five element theories, it may be a little hard to see, but within all the five element, there's color, there's an organ that pertains to it. So for example, wood, it's liver and gallbladder, fire, heart and small intestine, earth, spleen, stomach, metal, lungs and large intestine, water will be kidney and urinary bladder. And the color of wood is obviously green, fire is red, earth is yellow or dark brown, metal is white, and water will be black or blue. Okay. So now within the five element, there's a personality. Each of us has a five element within us. And some of us lean towards one element than others. And this can cause us imbalances in our health. So let's start with the wood element. So a wood personality is a planner. A planner, we would call this person a type A personality. They are the one like the general, my way or no way. And most of these people are very successful people. They're like lawyers, they are doctors, so they're professionals where they have to lead. And the emotions that pertain to wood will be anger or frustration or suppressed anger, and that can cause us depression. And the opposite side of wood, when you think of something good about wood, is that they could grow and they're very, very organized. So these are very people who are organized. I put flexibility, but the opposite of that is that they oftentimes could be very inflexible. But the ultimate of that is that you want someone who to be flexible and not inflexible. And the color is green and the taste is sour. And how the taste works is that sometimes you might have a craving for something, then you know that your wood is out of balance. Now, if you open your closet and you find that it's full of green color, then you know that you're off balance as well, and that you're leaning too much towards wood. And the sound is shouting. Let's just say that you've seen someone and they're yelling at you and you didn't even say anything, which means that they have a imbalance in the wood element. And the organs that pertains to is the liver and the gallbladder. And the imbalance of wood is the undecisiveness. So this would be opposite from a person who's a planner. Now, this sport. Now, I will tell you that when I was in acupuncture school, everything terminated right now. I had my backpack was green, my massage table was green, half of my clothes was green, and I had no idea of what a wood I was and how imbalanced I was. Okay. So the next element is the fire element. When you think of fire, you think of something that's blazing, that is red, that is fun to be with. And so a fire person is like a daredevil. They're very spontaneous. They're the type that will go bungee jumping. They were the type that they don't plan. Let's just do it. We don't need a calendar. We don't need to decide what we should do. Just spontaneously do it. And the problem with the fire is that relationship problem. They tend to have that issue. Now, the emotion is joy or love or compassion or lack of joy, love, and compassion. When you think about the holidays, those who lack joy or love, they tend to have a heart attack. Okay. Now, if you have too much joy and you're asking, well, too much joy, wouldn't that be good? No, that would also be an imbalance. That would cause us to be manic on the opposite side, which is depression. So you don't want to have too much joy as well. And the color is red. So a fire person tends to be someone who loves to wear red. They want to be the one who shows up late to a party and the car's red. They want attention. And the taste is bitter, something tasting bitter, such as bitter melon or arugula, and that would be the fire element. And the sound is laughing. So some people have a voice that is naturally sound like they're laughing, even if they're talking about, oh, this might be pathological, but they say, oh yeah, my mom or whatever who passed away, and they started laughing. So that would mean that there's a problem with the fire element. And the organs that pertains to that is the heart and small intestine. And the problem they have is matters of the heart. The small intestine is supposed to filter out whatever you eat and move it down to the GI tract and to the large intestine. But when you have issues of the heart and small intestine, it doesn't know what to filter. It doesn't know what to absorb. You can't decide who should you choose for your friend. There's a lot of issue that dealing with relationship. So this is the fire element. And one other thing about the heart is that it stores, we call it the mind, the consciousness, and the shen. So whenever there's a problem with the mind and the consciousness, we say that that's a heart issue. And in Chinese medicine, we say that this is depending on what we call postnatal, which means that hereditary from your parents, and prenatal. Postnatal means that from you, what you're born with, and pre means you came from your parents, that before you were born. And so the mind is an essence. It shows if you have good, healthy mind, and if you have a healthy mental state, what it shows is that it shows through your eyes. So whether you have a sparkle in your eyes, that would means you have a good conscience and a good shen. But if you have a dull eye, that means that you have an emotional problem, that you have shock in your life. So the function of the mind in Chinese medicine says that it's to think and to discriminate. And the disharmonies of the mind shows in muddled thinking. Sometimes you feel like, my head feels a little heavy. I can't seem to think clearly. Forgetfulness, insomnia, any type of problem with sleeping, insomnia, we say that's a heart problem. Incoherent speech and mania, all of that, you have to work on the heart. All right, the earth element. The earth, now before we jump to the earth, I just want to say that when I was in med school, I went to New York and we stayed with my cousin Tri there. We had another colleague of mine, friend, she was from another school, and she was so fiery that I've never been around such a fiery person, that we did so many things in New York spontaneously. And being a person who's a wood, being next to a fire, it was just so fun to be with a fire person. So there's someone in your life that they're just fun to be with, they're likely to be fire. Okay. And earth element, when you think of earth, you think of Mother Earth, you think of something that's round. So an earth person tends to have a problem with weight. They have food issue, weight issue. They can't seem to lose the weight. They're we call them kind of unambitious. They're the type that, let's just pass by, let's just get a C versus a wood person say, no, we need to get an A in class. But an earth person is very nurturing and very generous. So these are the people who, when you go to their house, they said, "Oh, eat more. We have plenty of food. Eat more." So that would consider to be a very earth person. The emotion pertaining to earth would be anxiety or worry, contentment and empathy would be the other good side of earth. If you worry too much, you find that you're not really hungry, or you eat too much to suppress whatever you're trying to suppress. And the color for earth would be yellow, orange, or dark brown, depending on which text you looked at. And the taste is sweet. Sometimes you have a craving for something that's sweet. That would indicate that your earth is out of balance or it's deficient, and you need to tonify it. And the sound is singing. Some people might have a very singing voice, and the organs is spleen and stomach. And the GI is the problem that Earth pertains to. When I was in acupuncture school, I have a friend who is very, very Earth. And she was a little overweight as well. But because she was Earth, she was able to anchor me and make me less of a wood. So it's always good to know where you are at, so that way you know your imbalances. And then the next element is called the metal element. When you think of metal, you think of something that's strong, that has a certain shape. So if you look at Frankenstein, his face is very broad and he has a very broad shoulder. So someone who has a face that's broad and sharp chin, just like Jay Leno, and broad shoulder, those are metal personality. And as a metal, you don't want them to be your enemy because they can stab you in the back. Think of your enemies. They could be your weapons or anything, guns. Now, they could be rigid personality because it's metal. However, the ultimate of metal would be spirituality. These people are very spiritual. The emotion is grief and sadness, self-worth and ability to let go and righteousness. The color is white and the taste is pungent and the sound is crying and the organs is lung and large intestine. So, and we see a lot of older patient who comes in and have problem with asthma, and you're thinking, is this an adult asthma? And you ask them, has someone recently passed away? And they would say, oh yeah, someone did. So perhaps that could be the reason why it's causing the lung and large intestine out of whack, can cause it constipation and problem with breathing. Okay. And the last element is a water element. When you think of water, you think of something that can take the shape of any container. And so the water person is very adaptable. They're easygoing. They get along with everybody. These are the type of people that go to the party and they come out with 10 people that they never met before and become good friends with these people. So the emotion is fear. They can also be a complainer. They complain about everything. And the ultimate of water is that they have strong willpower. They're courageous and they're able to flow and move with what is. The color is blue, black, and the taste is salty. And the sound is moaning or groaning. And the organs it affects is the kidney and urinary bladder. So they tend to have a problem with kidney, urinary tract infection, and GU problem. Right. Now, the emotion of fear pertains to the water. Keep in mind that fear prevents us from seeing a true reality and opening to what is. It limits us physically and psychologically. It causes pain, insecurity, and uncertainty. It manifests as an aversion. Fear of getting what you don't want strengthen resistance. Fear of losing what you have strengthen your attachment, and fear conditions resistance in the mind. And for an example, if you think that a lot of fear is from the mind, then you think of a painter who paints a tiger and then being afraid of the image of the tiger. And you know that that's unreasonable, but a lot of us do have fear that is created from the mind. Okay, so as a review, the five element theory, this is a summary right here, the color right here, the season, the organs that pertains to, the tissue organs, the emotion that pertains to, the taste is pertains to. Okay. So how do you understand the interactions and the behavior of the five element theory? Let's just say that I'm going to take an example of my parents. Okay. If you are married and you want someone who take care of you, then you wanted to do the generating cycle because that person will help you to become a better person. If you don't want someone to do that and you want someone to control you and take care of whatever it is and you don't have to worry about it, then you need to marry someone who's in the controlling cycle. So that way you're not in control, that person will be in control. So, for example, my parents, my mom is very much water. She does have kidney stone, kidney problem. So this is my mom, and my dad is very much a wood person. He does have anger problem when he was young. Now he's a little bit better now that he's in his 80s. So it affects the liver and the gallbladder. But you notice that water generates wood, but it never goes the opposite. So in this relationship, my mother generates my dad, helps him, but my dad does not help my mom. And that's one of her complaints. And as a water person, she's also a complainer, unfortunately, and I love her dearly. But just understand that with the generating cycle, it never goes the opposite. Okay. Now, let's just say that if you are the water person and you want to control someone, then you want to marry a fire person who's spontaneous, who doesn't worry, who wants to do things, then it will be this. Now, let's just say that if you wanted to insult someone, then you just go the opposite. Okay. Now, so if I'm interacting with someone who's very much like a wood, because in a day when I work 12 hours, I'm seeing 28 patients or so, and someone comes in and yelling and screaming at me. So already I know that they have a wood issue. They're angry and they might have symptoms of liver and gallbladder. So what I need to be is that I have to be metal to control the liver, which means that I have to be spiritual. Okay. The liver person will not listen to anybody except a metal person. It will not listen to an earth person. As a matter of fact, a wood person will actually controls an earth person, and the earth person is not very ambitious in any way, and this is the reason why wood's able to control that. So whenever I interact with anybody, I always wanted to see what type of personality do I sense this person, so that way I have an idea of what I'm dealing with. And I just end up using whether I want to generate a person or whether I want to do the insulting cycle or I want to do the controlling cycle. So a lot of times, let's just say someone who has GI problem, they come in with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. So here they are in this earth imbalance. So the question is it the fire that's causing a problem where there's too much fire, so it's dumping too much into earth, so therefore earth cannot handle it. So then you start to have GI symptoms, and you start to have GI symptoms. What happened is that now it's going to dump into the lung and large intestine and the skin as well. Now you're going to have rashes on your skin. You have constipation. Okay? And then the other problem is that because if you're having imbalance of earth right here, the wood element is going to suck more because it's controlling. It's going to suck out of you the life force out of you. Now you even be weaker. And because you're weaker, you cannot control water. And then now you're going to have a problem with the kidney as well. Maybe kidney stone, urinary bladder problem, infection. So keep in mind that when it comes to diseases, it's always good to understand which element you are so you have an idea where to navigate on this because it will always affect the next cycle to that. Okay. And I'm just giving you a brief. I'm not I hope I'm not bombarding you with all these details, but I think that it's really important to understand some of this so you can maneuver through life. But I used to be very much a wood personality. And when I was in acupuncture school, I had a friend who was very, very much earth. And I could not control this person. I tried so many ways and it frustrated me. So what happened is that her earth was so strong that she insulted me. So what I ended up doing is I had to drop some of my woods, drop plantings, drop wanted to be organized. And then I end up to being a little more water, where I'm a little more flexible, easygoing. And so just an FYI, those are some of my experiences with the five element theory. Okay. And I wanted to connect something that is very important, and I thought to recommend some of this, is that the five element theory illustrates how the emotion affects your internal organs and physical bodies. But the work of David Hawkins shows that your emotion also affects the level of your consciousness and how it affects your healing. So if you look at your emotion, he graphed this on the energetic level. The higher energy you are, like peace and joy and love, you're likely to heal better. Right? So everything in Chinese medicine is based on energy. And according to Nikola Tesla, if you wish to understand the universe, think of frequency and vibrations and energy. Right? I won't go through the details because there's not enough time. So to summarize, the importance of being aware of your emotion, to know that your emotion is your health. And there are ways to regulate your emotion with various techniques. And some of these we discussed previously. Now we are going to talk about release and relax, and everyone's going to guide us through that. But one thing I want to add is that whenever you have any type of emotional issue, be aware of it and create more space. Once you create space for it, then it's not as bad and it's not as close because there's you and there's space and there's emotion. And I want to leave you with this from the Tao Te Ching, one of my favorite quotes. It said, knowing others is intelligent, knowing yourself is true wisdom, mastering others is strength, mastering yourself is true power. Thank you. And here's everyone.
Wow. Okay. This thing many times, but every time I hear something new.
Open gubernatorial seat and an open Senate seat there. First time since
That was just so interesting.
Yeah, this is the rest of the while we transition, this is the rest of the schedule, just tentative schedule. In April, we talk about the art framework. May, we last month we talked about that using the space physiologically and in our mind. And I spent some time talking about the art framework and the 4S process, but I shared the wrong slide last month. So those who are interested, I put in the chat, I uploaded the discussion on the art framework and the 4S practice, which is the basis of our practice here. And then so we'll do a little short releasing here on feelings, emotion shortly, and we'll discuss more of that in the following months, along with other things. Hopefully, we get to share some of the other techniques, the simplified EFT tapping, havening, and some gratitude practice, and the longer version of the releasing. So let's do some releasing. Let's stop sharing.
I'm running a strong campaign.
You no longer see the slides, right?
And I just spoke on my phone.
No, I don't.
Okay, cool. All right, so I thought what we could do is just to practice some releasing, and let me see if I can get to the gallery so I could see everyone here.
Building Iowa that people move to, not away from.
And I'm going to
You'll hear the same thing. I want
some background noise. See if I can
groups of other heads.
mute for now. Yeah, and then just unmute yourself if you'd like to speak. Yeah, so why don't we just settle down a little bit, practicing what we talked about in the last few months about our 4S process is just in this moment, just kind of pause for a moment of whatever activities that we're doing. Just have a pause, just stop and just be. We don't even need to close our eyes. If you would like to close your eyes, it's good also. The thing is, we want to be able to do this thing anytime, any place, under any circumstance. The pausing allows us to just get into a moment of stillness, just noticing the pause and when there is no movement. And allow things to settle. You can use the breath to just take a deeper breath. And as we breathe out, let the shoulder drop. Relax the chest and the abdomen. And let the weight of our living existence, the weight of our stress of daily living, to just settle down and sink in. Feel as though the entire weight of your body sinking down all the way to the seat of the cushion, to your feet, to the earth, grounding ourselves in this moment. And just notice in this moment to see, is there any specific feeling, emotion that tends to recur? Or are you feeling somewhat anxious, stressed out at the end of the day here in North America? Just notice an inventory. What's going on inside of us? And how do we know we feel that? Usually in the body. If there is any tension, contraction, anything that we feel in the body very likely is related to what we're feeling emotionally and in our mind. And just in this moment, notice what we're noticing. If there is any tension, any discomfort, any feeling or emotion, allow yourself to relax into the experience of this moment. Relaxing into. Whether it is specific sensation in the body or more abstract emotion, feeling. You can even consider bringing up certain things that tend to recur, feeling or emotion, and rate the intensity, the subjective unit of the stress, 1 to 10, the intensity. See where you're at, 1 being nothing, 10 being very intense. And just allow yourself to notice without trying to resist it, without trying to push it away, without trying to do anything about it, simply relaxing into whatever we're experiencing in this moment. Or diving into the core of whatever that being experienced in this moment. If previously you feel any solidity, the relaxing into or the diving into the core of what we're experiencing may allow you to notice the expansiveness and the emptiness of what used to appear as something hard, solid. We may even use a few more breaths to just relax as we breathe out. Drop the shoulder down again. It's interesting how often that even when I've thought at times I was so relaxed when I just noticed, can I drop my shoulder down? Oh yeah, I've been putting tension in my shoulders again. Just dropping the shoulders, softening the body, and grounding ourselves, settling down, sinking in, relaxing into whatever is being experienced in the moment. And allow that experience to just settle down, sink in. And notice the expanding sense of inner space as the weight sinks down. It opens up more space within us. The container is enlarging, becomes more and more expansive beyond the container of our body. It's like a balloon caricature that we see sometimes on top of a building that's blown by the air, the inside out, just opening up with the lightness of our body when the weight sinks to the earth. That's the transformation. And allow a faint smile to come up. And see if there is any quality of stillness, something uplifting with that gentle smile. Is there any sense of appreciation? Bringing in the sense of appreciation to what you're experiencing in this moment is also an uplifting quality that continue to expand, and allowing ourselves to savor and feel the continued unraveling of the relaxing into the experience of the moment. This body and breath related method is very useful for those who are very keenly aware of the body sensation. If some people are not that connected to the body feeling, we can also relax into the experience in the mind. Whatever you're experiencing in this moment, whether you have uplifting feelings, emotion in this moment, or you have some of the more disempowering feelings or emotion in this moment, whatever experience that is, could you let it be? To just let it be in this moment. It's the equivalent of just relaxing into it. Just the intention. And with that question, allow yourself to answer yes internally or verbally. Could you just let the experience be? Let the moment be as it is. Would you let the experience of this moment to simply be? Would you? An invitation for a yes. And when? When would you do this? Everything happens in the now, in the present moment. An invitation for now. Now let us assess again whatever is going on within our mind and body. Could you let the experience at this moment to just be? Could you let it be? Could you allow it to simply be without trying to change it, without judging it, without trying to resist it, without trying to grasp on it? To just allow it to simply be. Would you let it be? Would you? Invitation for a yes. When? The time is now. Things only happen in the now, not in the past, not in the future, just now. Now look again. Stop settling down. What are you experiencing in this moment? In the body, in the mind, in your feeling? Whatever things that you're experiencing in this moment, could you let that experience be? Could you relax into it? Just relax into it. Could you let it be? Allow this moment to unravel, to unfold the way it is. Would you? Just for now. Could you let it be even more? And just for now, could you simply let this moment be as it is? That this moment is uniquely this moment. And it's like this. This moment is like this. Could you let it be as best as you can, just for now? And see if you can notice. See if you notice somewhere in your body, in your mind, is there a sense of ease or peace? Or stillness? Even if you have chronic pain, not every single inch of your body has pain. Is there a place in your body where there is a relative ease? Allow yourself to notice that part of it. Even in your mind is full of anxiety, stress. Just notice, is there somewhere in the corner, in the background, where you can notice just a flicker of peace? And allow that uplifting quality, whether it's peace or ease, or a sense of gratitude or kindness or love, allow that to open up, unfold even more. What we notice tend to expand, and allow it to expand, and let it come up more and more from the background into the foreground of our awareness. and allow whatever experience, quality that we have, what we look forward to, what we notice tends to get more into our attention, to our awareness, and allow it to wash over our entire being, wash over our entire being, and expanding more and more, filling up the entire field of awareness and up into the foreground of our awareness. What we pay attention to, we tend to get more. If we pay attention to our disempowering feelings and emotions, we tend to get more of it. But if we bring our awareness with some appreciation and gratitude into what we want more of it, the uplifting qualities of this ease, peace, kindness, gratitude, or stillness, any of these, then the mind tends to focus more of that and tend to search for more of it. The more we bring our attention to notice what we want rather than what we do not want, the more the mind will find it. So savoring it, marinating, immersing, delighting, and enjoying the uplifting quality that we find somewhere, even from the background, bringing to the foreground. Why can we do that? Because we let the previous experience to settle down. By settling down, we're opening up the inner space. In opening up the inner space, now we have room. We're not trying to push away anything else, just allow it to settle, opening the space, and then noticing the uplifting quality that we would prefer, and allowing it to be nurtured, to come out from the background to the foreground, washing over our entire being and blossoming. And more, noticing the entire being and immersing our entire field of awareness. How the body feels, how the mind feels, allowing things to happen. And allow yourself to relax into that also. Not grasping, just allowing. And just rest. Just rest. Rest in that field of awareness of this moment. Whatever experience there is, simply rest. And smile. And when you're ready, you can start moving your fingers and toes and open your eyes.